Hi everyone, I hope that all of you are doing good because today I wanted to share a story about one of the first ever classes that I had to take in university. So there were many classes in university where I got to really learn new things and have a great experience overall, but unfortunately this physics class that I took wasn't one of them. So back in my first year of university, there were a bunch of classes that we were required to take in order to graduate, and within those classes they had the physical sciences. So we were required to either take chemistry, physics, or astrophysics. You see, I didn't want to take chemistry because I took it back in 9th and 10th grade and never understood it, so that didn't sound like a great idea. And while I was compelled to take an astrophysics course because it sounded really new and interesting, I was a very scared first year student, so I didn't want to take any risks. So that left me with physics. To be fair, I was better prepared for physics than chemistry or astrophysics, so I thought to myself, maybe this won't be so bad. Oh, silly me. When I was enrolling to the class, I realized that there were two different professors teaching the course. Fortunately, I was enrolled in the class where the prof had a better rating in Rate My Prof, so I was feeling a little bit optimistic, but I was still really nervous. When I entered the lecture hall, there were almost 400 people, so you can imagine I was a little bit intimidated by that. Anyways, the prof that I had was pretty nice. He seemed really chill and made his own handwritten notes. He also posted his written notes and provided with so many good examples and practice questions to make sure that all of us understood the concepts. So that was pretty neat. I was feeling pretty good about the class. There were some tricky concepts here and there, but it wasn't too bad. Mind you, having to write full lab reports in less than 24 hours every single week was a little bit excessive. And then came my first midterm. Remember when I mentioned that there were almost 400 people? The professor and the TAs had to deal with a lot of students, so in order to maximize their efficiency, they decided to make everything into multiple choice papers. I don't really have anything against multiple choice papers. I think they're pretty great and pretty effective, but it was physics. Some questions were really simple and almost trivial, but they also had problems that required us to use our calculations and apply that theory, and that took a lot longer than simply answering a theory question. And the thing is, because it was a multiple choice question, all of these questions were weighted the same way. So there were no part marks for those questions. It didn't matter if 99% of my problem was correct. If my final answer was wrong, and if I put the wrong answer on my Scantron, it was just gonna be wrong. And it wouldn't have mattered how close I was to the answer. It sucked. The average was around 80%, so I was below average. And the thing is, the class was curved, so it actually mattered how well you did compared to others. But at least I wasn't failing, so still had hopes. At least I wasn't in the other class, where I heard that the average in that class was around 50 to 60%, which, my goodness, that is incredibly low. Let's call that professor Dr. Book. My floor mates who had Dr. Book told me how he was a freaking genius, but was way too overqualified to teach an introductory physics class to first year undergraduate students. They told me that he made everything a lot more complicated and harder to understand for a lot of people. They weren't exaggerating when they said that he was a genius. He had his own Wikipedia page and was even mentored by Stephen Hawking. I know, it's insane. He was literally one of the smartest people that I've heard. So anyways, I wasn't doing the best, but I still had another midterm and a final to do better. After slaving away and doing every single practice question and studying and making sure that I understood everything, I finally took the second midterm like a champ and did a lot better than I expected. However, this is where everything started to go downhill. A few classes after taking my second midterm, I don't see my usual professor. It was Dr. Book. He came to announce two things. One, he mentioned that there were some students who actually found the second midterm and were practicing it without them actually knowing, and while he said that there was nothing wrong with that, he mentioned that those students had an unfair advantage over the other students. So what did he decide to do? He decided to cancel the second midterm. So I thought to myself, okay, that really sucks. But hey, I still have my final mark and I think I'm starting to understand his style and hopefully nail his final. But then I hear his second announcement. The professor that I had throughout this entire semester had a medical leave because he had a condition that didn't allow him to speak properly. So instead, Dr. Book was gonna take over and was gonna be our professor for the rest of the semester. It was very clear that nobody was happy with these announcements. Not only did my second midterm that I actually did better on was not going to count anymore, but Dr. Book was gonna take over our class and he was gonna make the final, which was considerably harder and will count even more with my first midterm that I did badly on. I swear the universe was against me. So you might be wondering, was I able to persevere throughout the rest of the semester and work my ass off and exceed my expectations and do really well on my course? And the answer to that is did you even read the title of this video? I'll spare you the details. I ended up getting a C+. I passed, but it was not a great grade. It was a blessing that I even passed the class in the first place. The final was an absolute train wreck. I was barely halfway through my exam and I already wasted like 2 hours and 30 minutes. I only had 30 minutes left. My soul pretty much left the exam room temporarily and just reflected on why I even took this class in the first place. And while I was also laughing hysterically and having several mental breakdowns, I saw several people crying in the middle of the exam room, which, by the way, mood. So did I learn my lesson and think to myself, yikes, maybe I should take something else other than physics? Nah, cause I really hated myself and actually ended up taking another physics course. But hey, I did slightly better in it. A B-. It was not worth it. So, what did we learn today? It doesn't matter how much you love or hate the course, professors pretty much make or break the entire course. You should be very careful when you're building your schedule. And sometimes, like me, it doesn't matter if you do everything right. Life isn't fair sometimes, so... that was kind of depressing. So yeah, that was the story of one of my unluckiest classes that I've taken so far. Let me know if you liked this video. If you liked it, you can give it a like and subscribe to my channel because I try to upload every Tuesday. I hope that all of you had an amazing day and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye!